Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are good. It is cold. I just added a little bit of water, half a cup of water into a container and 1 packet of yeast, and I'm adding 2 tablespoons of olive oil onto the mixture, and then I am going to add 1 kg of bread flour into the container. And I added like you saw how I measured my salt. Obviously my hand is small. You might have to use if you have a big hand, obviously you'll have to reduce the size. And I'm mixing that together. It is actually early in the morning. I think it was just before 8, and I'm starting on this bread. So I don't know what this vlog how am I going to title it, because whew, it's all over. It was actually shot within a couple of days. I think the last time I uploaded a video, I did say that I have been quite busy, but I've been trying not to put my phone down and record as much as I can. And the coldness, guys, it's not making things easy. I don't know about you guys, but it's not making things easy. And recently I've seen a lot of videos talking about turmeric, and I just added half a lemon juice into the glass, half a teaspoon of turmeric, and a bit of honey, and poured hot water into there, and I'm going to drink that. Apparently it's a great immune booster. And for my tea, it's rooibos, clove, and cinnamon. And I'm going to go ahead and soak my my beans, which is going to be it's what we're going to have for dinner. It will be bread with beans. So this is after an hour. I'm going to turn it. I've let it rest for an hour. Then I'm going to knead it a little bit. I think I've said this before. This is what I do. This is my lazy method of making bread. I eliminate kneading for like 10 minutes. Yes, I was telling you guys about the turmeric drink. Apparently though, I left out an important as part of it, which is supposed to be pepper, black pepper, to activate the turmeric. So yeah, this is after another hour. So it has been 2 hours already. I'm punching it down once again, and see, and I think I'm going to let it sit again. As you can see, the gluten is developing quite well there, and I'm happy with how it looks. So the turmeric drink, they say that it is a great way to boost your immune system. I've been doing it for a couple of days, but I do feel like this type of things, you don't get to see the results immediately. It's a process, it's a process. So I don't know how that's going to. And I'm starting to cook my beans there. I just added them my seasoning and oil, and I'm going to let them boil. So the other day, and actually not the other day, last night, I made the egg noodles dish that I made, and there was a lot of noodles that was left. So I'm deciding that we are going to have that for lunch. So I just, in my pan, I just added onion and celery and frying it up with oil into there. That's going to be lunch for us. And it's simple. This is actually budget friendly meal that one can make. It's not complicated, it's very easy. So I'm simply just going to stir it in up until everything is translucent. I had Viennas in my fridge and I'm just cutting them up roughly. I'm not trying to be fancy. I have those meals where I'm really not trying to be fancy when I'm making them. So I just added my Viennas. It's chicken Viennas into the pan. You can use whichever one that you have. It's not a biggie. And finally, I hardly buy Viennas. The last time I bought Viennas in my house was when Theo was still in primary school. That's a long time. And but this time around I was like, oh, we haven't had them in a while. I was actually craving them and decided to get some, and I'm going to make them part of the meal. The reason I don't buy them that much is because we hardly ever eat, like, I don't know, if I make bread, it's homemade bread, but we've never really eaten like breakfast where you eat the Viennas and what. So I added a bit of water onto my pan, and I added 50 gram of tomato paste onto the pan as well. If you have tomatoes, you can use that. You don't have to use tomato paste. And I've added 2 tablespoons of flour onto the pan. This is how I make my sauces most of the time. And I just added water onto the pan to create that sauce. I'm basically just making a sauce for the noodles, guys. That's what I'm making, and the flour makes it thick. If you do have soup, you can use that. And I just added paprika, I added Moroccan spice, I added onion and garlic powder, I added chili flakes, and I added some herbs, and of course my yellow salt, and I am going to stir them in to the sauce to until it is well combined. As I was saying, if you do have your soup, like the soup that we buy at the store, you can use them. I don't have them. I hardly ever buy them, but you can use them if you do have them. And I proceeded into adding my leftover noodles that was left last night when I was making dinner, and I'm going to make sure that they are well coated with the soup or the sauce, and that's what we are going to have for dinner. I think this is easy, it's simple, it's budget friendly. You can have this anyhow you want, and I do feel that even if you don't have the Viennas, you can still, it's still a good meal. I don't think they are needed. It's just that, you know what, I felt like I wanted some form of protein onto our lunch, and my dough is ready. That is after 3 hours of leaving it to rest, or of allowing it to prove. It proved for an hour. I punched it down, kneaded it, and let it prove again for another hour, and then I let it prove again, and this is how it is. I try not to flatten it a lot because I do want my sorry. If you're new here, this is how we cut our rolls, especially with the method that I'm using for the dough. This is how we cut them. We make them in a panini form. That's how they look in a pan, and I'm going to quickly put them into an oven and start cleaning the things that I was using. So I wanted to ask you guys, how are you doing? How are you dealing with your chores in this cold weather. For me, it has been a struggle. I actually realized that I do not like winter, and I don't function well in winter. And I realized that I've actually started my YouTube channel when I started it in July, but majority of the videos that I started then, they were more of cooking than actually cleaning and all of that. So I was doing the other chores at my pace. So for me, with everything that is going on in my life, it has been some sort of a struggle to do things the way I want to do them because of the coldness. It is so cold, like not funny. And over the weekend I went to my mom's house in Rustenburg, and for the first time, I grew up in that place, ne? I've never experienced such coldness ever. So for me, it was shocking to be in that area and feel that coldness, because it used to be warm. Funny enough, when we were going there on Saturday, it was so hot, so hot. And then the following day on Sunday, it was cold. It was as if we were back in Joburg. I don't know. How do you guys function in this weather? And especially the YouTubers, I'll ask the content creators, the homemaking ones, because our content revolves around us being busy, touching water, doing this. It's a lot. So how are you guys doing it? How are you managing? Because hey, I am struggling. I'm struggling. I hate the coldness with everything that is in me. I hate it. Maybe a word hate is not it's not the right way to use, but I do not like it. And another aspect that I don't like about winter, it is the laundry. I've said this before. Laundry, you don't get to finish laundry like at all. Like it's forever there. Unfortunately, that is something that I cannot do anything about it, but it doesn't make it any easier. I don't like it. I struggle with it, and I find myself in a position that really it's not easy to deal with it. But anyway, it is life. It's part of life. There's nothing that we can do. And I was just starting on washing my jars there. I want to organize my pantry. If you guys if I was to show you how my pantry looked, I'm not good at this thing, hey. I'm not good. But then again, I realized that some things are easy to deal with when you are the only one that is just dealing with it. Oh, the people that I live with, they do things the way they want. If they take something, they take it, and then they're not gonna put it back where it is supposed to. So it's a bit of a struggle when it comes to, do you see guys, when I was telling you guys about the dust that is in my house, that is overwhelming. It is everywhere. And you know what, it's fine, I'll sort it out. But I just wanted to wash the jars, and start organizing my pantry from scratch. And I will try by all means not to get it messed up again. And I'm actually realizing that what, I need more bottles, but I've this time around, I'm not sure if I wanna buy them new. I think I could, if I could find them second hand, yeah, maybe, because the ones that I'm looking for more, is the console jars. But I think I want the 500 mils and the 250 mils now. But we'll see how that goes. I'll see how I do that. But yeah, that's just how things have been for me in terms of coldness. I don't know about you guys. Whenever I buy celery, it doesn't matter whether I buy it from the Asian market or I buy it from the store. I found it very helpful to keep it, to wrap it in a paper towel and put it in a jar. It stays crisp. I've had this I still have it in my fridge as we speak. It's been a month already and it is still crisp, it's still fresh. So jars are very good at keeping things fresh for longer, and others I haven't kept it that long, so I wouldn't be able to confirm for sure that they can stay for a month. But with the celery, I've confirmed it has been a month already and I've had it in my fridge and it's still crisp, so try it if you do have jars, because previously if I just keep my celery in a fridge as it is, like within after a week or so, it will be like, how do I, it wouldn't be, it wouldn't hold the shape, it wouldn't still hold the shape, it will not it would not be crisp. So this is what we had for dinner. The rolls are ready. This is how they look, and the beans, this is how they look. I crushed them a little bit because they were not creating the soup that I wanted, so I mashed them, and this is how they were, and they tasted absolutely amazing. So this is days later. I just added 1.5 teaspoon of coarse salt, Himalayan salt, into 500 mils of lukewarm water into and then I'm going to measure 6 cups of bread flour onto my bowl while my salt is dissolving there. I find that coarse salt makes everything better. And in here I just added about a teaspoon of yeast, and I made dumpling on Sunday, which was a day before, yeah. And then I just added I left a little bit, when I was making it, to create bicha for my dough for today. And I added 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and I added my 500 mils of water, and I did go and refill my jug again. So far it is 3 cups of water into my dough, and this is how it's looking. I feel like it still needs a little bit more of the water, and this was a 24-hour process. Actually, it was not quick. It wasn't something. It's I'm always ever experimenting with bread because I love sourdough, but I am terrible. I'm horrible. I cannot make sourdough to save my life. So I'm always looking for ways to improvise or to compromise or to, make it easy for me to get at least some form of, something similar to that, even if it's not completely the same way. And in a clean bowl, I just applied a little bit of oil onto it and transferred my dough onto that bowl. This flour that I'm putting on top, it's not necessary, you don't have to, but I did, so I left that for overnight. I didn't use it for the night. And here I'm starting on malva pudding. I just added 1 cup of sugar into the bowl, and then 3 tablespoons of melted butter onto the bowl, and then I am adding 2 eggs. So this is double the recipe, guys. It's double the recipe, and you can divide it into 2 if you want to. This is double the recipe. You can cut it in half if you want to. And I just added 2 tablespoons of apricot jam, and I added 2 tablespoons of vinegar, and I added 1 tablespoon of vanilla essence. Whisk that together into the bowl. The wooden spoon was not doing it for me, so I came in with the whisker so that we can break the jam and try to combine it thoroughly into there. And I just added my flour, baking powder, and a pinch of salt into the bowl, and I'm sieving it. My flour is 2 cups of flour, guys, and then I added 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, and then I also added a pinch of salt. No, it's not 1, it's 2 teaspoons of bicarbonate of soda, and I added a pinch of salt onto there. I didn't use baking powder, my mistake there, my bad. And then I'm adding milk onto the bowl. I added plus or minus 1 cup of milk into my mixture, and that is about it. So it is basically 2 eggs, 2 cups of flour, 3 tablespoons of melted butter, 2 teaspoons of bicarbonate of soda, a pinch of salt, 2 tablespoons of apricot jam, 2 tablespoons of vinegar, and then I used 1 cup of sugar into the mixture as well. So in my casserole dish, I'm just applying what we call butter, melted butter into there. You don't have to, because you are going to put in a sauce into it, but I just thought I should. It's a habit, and transfer my batter onto the casserole dish. And then I did it like this a little bit to make sure that the air bubbles are not in there anymore, and I baked it at 180 degrees until well cooked and well combined. And in my pot there, I just added 2 cups of mabele, and I'm making ting, and I added 1.5 cups of mabele, and I'm adding 2 cups of fermented mabele. So I'm making ting porridge. We call it porridge, but it's not porridge. It's porridge, man. It's ting bogobe ba mabele. That is how I make it. I think I made the ting with you guys. You saw how I make it. Basically, you burn your mabele with boiling water, and then you mix it together. You don't add too much water, and then once that is done, then you will add your cold water. This is my malva pudding. That's how it looks. I'm happy with the result. I haven't made that in a long time. After you mix your mabele and it's well combined, you let it simmer, you let it cook for a little while, so that you can be able to tell whether you need to put in a little bit of mabele or not. And I realized or I felt that I needed to put a little bit more, and I did. And this is mabele, strictly mabele. Majority of the time we make ting with white pap, white meal, and then we will use mabele to dilute the sourness. So in my pot, I just added about 2 tablespoons of butter, and I added about 1 cup of milk into there, and I added the remaining cup of sugar, and I added 1 cup of full cream into the milk, and I added a bit of vanilla essence there. That is the sauce that I'm going to add onto my malva pudding. Now, I forgot to poke into my malva pudding before I poured in the sauce, but that's not okay. It's still absorbed, the cake still absorbed, the pudding still absorbed the liquid. But if you are going to make it, be sure to make sure that you are using the why am I saying you're going to poke your malva pudding. So with the remaining sauce, I just added 1 teaspoon of custard into a cup of milk, and added into the remaining of the remainder of the sauce that was remaining. And then I felt that this custard was not enough, and I added another half a spoon of the custard. I will make this again on its own so that I can do it in a way that it will be understandable. This is the consistency of the custard that I make for malva pudding. But if we are going to have it with peaches or with jelly, it's going to be a different kind of homemade custard. But for the malva pudding, that is how I make my custard. I make it with butter, I make it with cream and the sugar and all of that. But I will show you guys in future on how I make that. And this is how it looks. I love it. I love my malva and my custard hot. And this is my bele with beef, and that is how my meal went. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you on my next video. Bye.